My name is Kevin Coleman, and I'm here today to talk to you about our CAT skid steer loaders and compact track loaders. These are our new models, our 272D, our 272D XHP, our 299D, and our 299D XHP models. They are Tier 4 interim compliant, Stage 3B compliant, machines that we're able to deliver to the marketplace this year. We're very excited to talk to you today about some of the features and benefits that we can deliver to you as a customer and show you how you can get your work done more efficiently and more profitably. I want to take a couple of minutes here to talk about the four models that we're introducing here with our D series. Specifically, we'll start with the 299D and its sister machine, the 272D. Those models are a direct replacement for our 272 and 299C models, except we're bringing to the marketplace a little bit more performance. We're looking at about a 5% increase in net horsepower and a 14% increase in torque. So we really have the performance with these machines, even over and above what we had with our C series machines. Now, when we're looking at the configurations for these D-Series models, very similar to what you could get with your C-Series. You could get a standard flow model, 22 gallons a minute, brings to the marketplace good performance for some of these rotating tools and so forth. You also can get the high flow XPS, the high pressure, high flow system that is on these machines that gives you that extra level of performance for these higher torque tools like mulchers and cold planers. So if you're looking for a little bit more performance, you can still get that on these machines. You also get 2-speed standard on our compact track loaders. You have the option for 2-speed on our 272 as well. So you're looking at some of the same functionality that you had before, just with some increased performance. We'll take a couple minutes to talk to you about our two newest models of our skid steer loader family, the 299D XHP compact track loader and our 272D XHP skid steer loader. These machines bring to the marketplace the next level of performance. So you as a customer, if you're looking for more performance to run cold planers, mulchers, wheel saws, high performance, high torque tools, then these machines may be for you. They're going to deliver a 40 gallon a minute high pressure hydraulic system to you for running these tools, to be very efficient at it, be very productive at it. We're also going to provide you the horsepower and the torque to back those up. Horsepower, we're looking at 106 net horsepower and a 27% increase in torque versus what you could get over a comparable equipped C-Series machine. So you're looking at a lot of performance in these machines. These are the high performance, high work tool utilization type machines. They also have the capability to lift and load, just like you would find on our 272 and 299D. Both those sets of machines and these sets of machines get an increase in lift force of 19%. So they can really pick the loads up, but there also can be work tool intensive machines as well. As you come to the rear of the machine, you'll notice there's a few changes in the rear of the machine. That's part of our strategy to employ a way to draw air into the engine compartment from the lowest pressure, cleanest, coolest kind of portion of the machine, and that's the rear of the machine. Our air draw is now in through the rear door, through this ventilated rear door. We've also sealed off the engine compartment from the front of the machine. So essentially at the firewall area, that is now sealed so that all of your air draw for these machines is in through the rear of the machine, this low pressure kind of area where it's cleaner and cooler to draw air in from. So you can see we have this ventilated rear door. Now we'll open up the engine door and look at the layout of the components in the engine bay. As we install the safety pin, also point out the reinforcement ribs we have on the inside, 1/4 inch thick reinforcement ribs on the inside of this corrugated ventilated rear door. Now as we look a little bit deeper in here, you'll see that we got the CAT C3.8 liter engine on the 299 and 272D models. That's a 95 net horsepower engine. On the 299D XHP and the 272D XHP, that's a 106 net horsepower engine. Lots of performance here. And again, we talked about the increase in torque versus our C-Series models. We're looking at 14% increase in torque on our 299 and 272 models, and we're looking at 27% increase in torque on our 299D and 272D XHP machines. All right, so lots of performance there. You got your AC condenser right here on the door. Very easy to get to and clean out should you get any material in there. Just 3 bolts right here. Swings away from the door, very easy to clean out. As we look a little further into the machine, you notice kind of the layout of some of the other service components in this machine. Everything is very easily accessible. You got your coolant fill here. You got your fuel filter and water separator canister here. It's a clear bowl with the cartridge style. Remove the cartridge, replace the cartridge. It's got an electric priming pump. This is an opportunity to talk to you as a customer about fuel priming. This is a Tier 4 interim compliant machine. And with that comes along with higher pressure fuel systems and higher pressures and lower tolerances in the fuel system. Those things do not like contamination, and they do not like water. So you as a customer, you have a responsibility to not pre-fill your fuel filters. And to help you out with that, we've given you that electronic priming pump. You just replace your cartridge, use the key in the cab, you turn the key on, it'll automatically prime, electrically prime the fuel system. No need to pre-fill. Pre-fill is usually bad. You're putting dirty or contaminated fuel potentially into your fuel system, which has potential to harm the engine. So just as a matter of habit, you should never pre-fill your fuel filter, okay? Also located in here, we have our hydraulic oil filter. It's a cartridge style oil filter. You remove the can, replace the cartridge, put the can back on, and away you go. Located in this area as well, we have our engine oil level check for your daily oil level check. Also very easily located right here on the left side of the engine compartment. Additionally, you got your air cleaner, very easily accessible here. You can lay your hands on. Your alternator and your starter. You got your battery in your engine compartment. You also have your fuel fill here. Engine oil filter is just down the side of the machine right here, very easily accessible, and your oil fill right here as well. So everything in the engine compartment is very well laid out. This is a Tier 4 enter machine as we spoke of, and it does incorporate a DPF technology, a diesel particulate filter, and that is located on the front side of the engine near the flywheel housing end of the machine. Looking into the engine compartment a little further, you'll notice we still have maintained our hydraulically driven cooling fan. The hydraulically driven cooling fan is a very efficient way to cool your hydraulic and engine radiator cores. That means that you've decoupled that one-to-one relationship that would normally exist with a crankshaft-driven cooling fan or a belt-driven cooling fan. When you lug your machine down, when you're working it really hard, you don't want your cooling to slow down, which is what the case would be as if you had that crankshaft-driven or belt-driven cooling fan. But the hydraulic cooling fan, you don't have that issue. On top of that, we also have what we call a demand fan. It's a hydraulically driven fan that monitors the heat load from your engine coolant and from your hydraulic coolant, and it spins that fan according to your heat load. So if you have a high heat load, it'll spin faster. If you have a lower heat load, it'll spin slower. Benefits there would be noise externally, startup, you have better heater performance when you start the machine, and you have lower external noise at some points if you don't have that high heat load. So there's a couple of benefits there of the demand fan. Looking further, that demand fan blows the air up through these cooling cores, and this is another feature that we've maintained on our skid steer loaders since day one, and that's the side-by-side cooling pack. Side-by-side means that our hydraulic cooling core and our engine radiator or engine cooling core are side-by-side. They are not stacked on top of each other. It is the most efficient way to distribute air to those cooling cores. When you stack cooling cores on top of each other, you become less and less efficient with your heat transfer and with your air distribution as you try to blow through more and more cores, and maybe even an air conditioning condenser core that might be stacked on top of that. So it's our most efficient way to transfer airflow through these cores to keep your machine cool so that you can run these tools and be very productive for a long period of time without having to worry about your overheating. So we've taken a few moments to talk to you about the components in the engine compartment and the layout of those components in the engine compartment. The important point to talk about here, though, is that how we've delivered more performance in these machines versus our previous models, but we've also maintained the serviceability that you demand out of a CAT skid steer loader and compact track loader. I want to talk a little bit about the CAT compact track loader undercarriage, specifically about some of the features that we include in our undercarriage that you might find as optional on some of the competitive machines. For example, two-speed travel. You look at two-speed travel, it gives you two gears, a low gear for pushing power and lots of drawbar performance, but then a high gear, up to 8.5 miles an hour in speed, that allows you to travel across the job site very productively, or if you need to run to the end of the job site, get another bucket of material and come back, gives you that extra capability and that speed. But what allows you to utilize all that speed is our suspended undercarriage. Again, suspended undercarriage is standard as part of this machine as well. Suspended undercarriage uses torsion axles, a torsion axle suspension, in order to isolate this undercarriage from the chassis of the machine. That is better for you as an operator in the seat. You feel better. You don't have all that impact load driven back into you as an operator. After a long day, you feel fresh when you leave the cab. It also helps you with bucket material retention. So if you have a bucket full of material, that suspension is going to help you with that bucket and retaining that material in the bucket, not as much spillage as you would have with a rigid mounted undercarriage. Additionally, torsion axles also benefit you as a customer by helping maintain and lower your owning and operating costs for your track system. For example, torsion axles help absorb a lot of that load that is driven back into your tracks and into your rolling components. Without suspension, a rigidly mounted or a bolted on undercarriage system would drive that load back into your track system and into your rolling components. With the suspended system, you absorb a lot of that impact load that not only you would feel in the cab, but that your rolling components and your wear items would feel as they travel across the uneven ground as well. To meet your specific application needs, CAT compact track loaders offer multiple undercarriage configurations. For example, we have here the 17.7-inch wide belt with a dual flange front idler and a single flange rear idler. Also available is a 15.7-inch wide track with triple flange idlers in the front and rear. Let's take a few minutes, step inside the cab, and talk to you about some of the operator comfort and control features that we offer with our D-Series machine. We continue to build upon the reputation of our C-Series models for operator comfort and machine control with our new suite of features offered on our D-Series models. 4 of these features come under our intelligent leveling or iLev system. Those would be our electronic dual self-level, electronic snubbing, work tool positioner, and return to dig features. We have 2 additional features that come under our intelligent throttle control. Those would be our decelerator pedal feature and our throttle smoothing. So it puts you at the ultimate point of control from the operator's chair to make you more productive and more comfortable. As you come into the cab, first thing you want to do is put on your safety belt. Then you want to get comfortable in your seat in the cab. You want to make sure you have your sight lines appropriate, and you want to make sure your controls are comfortable. Put your arm bars down. Use your independently adjustable seat mounted controls to get them comfortable for you and for your application. In addition, you can adjust the seat forward and rearward, and notice the controls go with you. You can also adjust the seat height upwards or downwards. Note that the controls move with you. Gives you the ultimate in performance and control from the operator's chair. Let's take a few minutes to talk to you about one of the new features of our D-Series compact track and skid steer loaders. In the marketplace today, there's a feature called self-level that allows you to keep your load level as you raise your loader arms. With the electronic dual self-level system we have on our new D-Series machines, we not only allow you to keep that load level while raising, but we also allow you to keep that load level while lowering. That's very important, especially if you're taking material from a high rack and lowering it to the ground, or even from a truck bed and lowering it to the ground. It gives you the ultimate control as the operator to manipulate your load and keep it level. Now we're going to show you this feature in application. Ensure that your electronic dual self-level is in the on position using the switch on the left-hand console, and ensure the indicator is illuminated on the left-hand display. As we discussed previously, your forks will stay level on the raised portion of the load, much like you would on a traditional self-level system. As you approach your palletized material to remove it, you'll notice that the operator will raise the load, tilt it back slightly, and the angle he starts at will be maintained all the way to the ground only by lowering the joystick. There is no manual correction of the joystick to try to level the load. All you have to do is lower the load to the ground, and it maintains the angle at which you started. Yet another way, our D-Series giving you the ultimate control as the operator. Along with electronic dual self-level comes electronic snubbing. Electronic snubbing is the softening of the loader cycle as it reaches the bottom of the cycle just before it hits the load stops, giving you a much more comfortable feeling in the machine as you lower your arms to the stops. Skid steer and compact track loaders are very versatile pieces of equipment. They perform many applications. One of those applications might be truck loading, maybe from a pile of material into the back of a truck, a dump truck, or maybe into a hopper. One of the features we've provided with our new D-Series models is a return to dig feature to make you more productive at that type of application. If you get your material in your bucket, you pull over to the truck, you do your loading cycle, and then as you back away from the truck, you would normally lower and rack the bucket back. You simply depress the trigger, release it, and the arms will lower to the ground and the bucket will return to a pre-selected angle. Now we're going to show you the return to dig feature on our D-Series compact track loaders and skid steer loaders in practice. Approach the pile as you normally would for a truck loading cycle. You lower your bucket to the ground, get it flat as you would ready to go back into the pile. Use your right hand trigger. You pull the right hand trigger, depress the right hand trigger. You wait for the left hand display where the self-level icon is located to flash twice to indicate that you have selected an angle for your bucket to be returned to during the cycle. Once that indicator stops flashing, you're ready to go to work. Get a big scoop of material in this bucket like you normally would. Back away, and as you start to approach the truck, you can notice the self-level, the dual self-level that we talked about, actuating, keeping the bucket level as you approach the truck. Dump into the truck as you normally would. And as you back away from the truck, you'll move your joystick as you would to normally lower and to rack the bucket and depress the trigger. The arms will automatically lower to the ground. The bucket will return to that preset angle, ready to go back in the pile. You can see this feature shows how you can decrease your cycle times and increase your productivity just through this return to dig feature that we have on our D-Series skid steer and compact track loaders. D-Series compact track loaders and skid steer loaders give you the ultimate in versatility through the utilization of many work tools such as brooms, power box rakes, trenchers, for example. With our new D-Series work tool positioner feature, we give you, the operator, the ultimate control over this functionality for some of these work tools. We use the trencher as an example. Suppose you're creating a trench with your trencher, you have a certain depth selected, and you're trenching along. Suddenly you have to reposition the machine. Perhaps you hit a rock, or for whatever reason you have to reposition the machine. You pull the trencher up, manipulate the machine, reposition the trencher. Now you have to guess at the depth at which you should put your trencher back into the trench to create that same depth. With the new D-Series Work Tool Positioner feature, we allow you to select the angle at which you are already cutting that trench, and then you simply manipulate the joystick and the press of a trigger. You return that work tool to that pre-selected angle so that you get a much more consistent product and a better finished product as an operator. Think of the versatility and control you can have not only with a trencher, but with many of the other work tools that we provide in our portfolio. Now let's take a look at the trencher in action and show you this feature. For example, if you're trenching, creating your trench here about 2 foot deep, and you have to reposition your machine, you'll want to be able to put your trencher back in the same angle and the same depth that you had when you started the trench. So suppose you hit a rock, or for some reason you have to reposition your machine, you want to be able to return that trencher to that same angle. So what we're going to do here, we already started our trench, we've already selected our depth. So I'll pull the right hand trigger and hold. You will notice that the icon on the left hand display, the self-level icon, flashes twice to let you know you've selected an angle for your work tool. Now we're going to go back into the trench, and at some point we'll reposition and we'll show you how that feature actually works. So you're trenching, and for some reason you encounter an obstacle, maybe it's a rock, maybe it's some hard ground, and you have to reposition your machine. So you stop, raise your trencher slightly, reposition your machine. Now you want to return that trencher to the same depth that you selected earlier. You want to have a nice consistent trench, same depth. You only move the joystick to the dump position, click the trigger, and the trencher will return to that preset angle, so you know you've got a good consistent depth. Just re-engage your auxiliary hydraulics and use your creep control on your AMIC system if you need to match your work tool performance with your machine travel speed to get a good consistent trench. The new D-Series skid steer loaders and compact track loaders now feature a new electronic dial hand throttle. That's part of our new intelligent throttle control system. That new dial hand throttle allows you to manipulate your engine RPMs through the use of the dial. What is unique about this system, however, is that whenever the dial is placed at the high idle position, your foot throttle now becomes a decelerator pedal. It allows you to manipulate your engine RPMs from full high idle all the way down to about 1500 RPM. Which give you the ultimate control when you're using work tools or when you approach a trench or for whatever application you see fit. When operating a skid steer or a compact track loader, oftentimes you'll use our standard foot throttle pedal. When you're in a wheeled machine, for example, on uneven ground, very bumpy underfoot conditions, sometimes you'll get a loping kind of machine response as your foot bounces up and down on the throttle pedal. With our new D-Series intelligent throttle control, we've incorporated throttle smoothing. What that does is that allows you to Keep your foot in and use the foot throttle pedal even in these bumpy conditions, but we're going to smooth that response out for you to give you a much more controlled feel and a much more comfortable feel in the cab as an operator. Cat skid steers and compact track loaders offer maximum versatility. To maximize your versatility of these machines, you need work tools. Cat Work Tools offers a wide breadth to choose from. For example, brooms, cold planers, forks, buckets, whatever your need, there is a wide selection to choose from. We even have developed new tools for our 272D XHP and our 299D XHP machines. Our 400 series tools allow you to utilize that 40 gallons a minute and all that horsepower that we put out the front of the machine. So whatever your work tools need, Cat Work Tools is your answer. Thank you for allowing us to talk to you today about our 4 new D-Series models. We are very excited about bringing the industry-leading features and performance to these machines and to you as a customer, and continuing to be an innovator in skid steer loader and compact track loader machines. To learn more about these 4 models or the rest of our skid steer, multi-terrain, and compact track loader lineup, visit your local Cat dealer or cat.com. Look forward to seeing one of these on your job site very soon.